stands for vendor master detail. So I'll execute this table. I will take any of the vendor from this. I want to identify the list of baddies, right? Now the requirement is to raise a error message whenever the vendor belongs to German country. So first I have to identify the baddies so that, right? Identify the baddies. Vendor belongs to German country. So I will take a vendor with this D. That is nothing but your Germany, right? So I will go back to which transaction code? Which transaction code?
XK02.
XK02. I will go to XK02 and I will
50.
give this vendor, right? And
Select the
procession
address.
item,
Something.
address, right? Contact person, contact. Which purchase organization? 50 belongs to which purchase organization? Purchase organization. I don't know whether this exists or not. Okay, one second. I have to identify its corresponding purchase organization. What is purchase organization field? It is EKORG. It is EKORG, right?
In this video, we will see the concept of ALE in SAP. So let us look at the agenda for this session. First, we will cover the overview of ALE, and then we will see the types of data transfer that can happen.
We have EKORG here.
So ALE is a technology which is used to communicate between different servers that are located between.
EKORG field is not there now. How to identify its vendor? One second, Vikram. Do you know the link by any chance? Do you know the link between vendor and purchase organization plus SAP?
Okay, so now let us implement our BADI. So this is the message.
Hello.
So I will change the type is check
Vikram?
it from here.
Hello.
02.
I can't hear you. Are you there?
And if I enter here, now I have provided the country here as DE, but the region is not specified. Now if I press
Vikram?
Hello.
Yeah, Vikram, can you hear me?
Yes.
Why is that you went on? I'm not able to hear you in between.
I was able to hear you.
Okay, so I'll take this vendor and post it in EKKO. Let me see if I have EKORG here. EKORG. Yeah, I have the purchase organization, but what should I have here for the vendor is the listener. I have the listener, right? I will give the listener, deselect all, and also I will give EKORG. So purchase organization, each vendor will be associated to a purchase organization. There is no value found. Why so? Control F, LIFNR. It's 50 only, right? Or else. Let me take any vendor from here. I will take this vendor 5550 and what is its purchase organization? 3000. It is Come on, man. System is. Okay, there is a vendor which is open. Now, what is its? It is all Indian, right? So, whenever the region is Germany, whenever the country is Germany, we have to raise an error message, right? First thing is we will try to identify the list of baddies. Then we will go and change the vendor master and see if we can get it. So what is the first and foremost step if you have to use a baddie? You have to
Go to class.
go to the class called as a CL exit handler, right? Click on display, right? And put a breakpoint at get instance where the object is getting instantiated, right? This particular method, close the signature and get class name by interface. Put this breakpoint, right? Now don't execute. Now execute your XK02 transaction code. XK02 transaction code, right? What happened to this shit? Just give me a second. Okay, this is already open. So I will click on
exit name.
So it will. So I'm giving this. Now I will hit enter. I will hit enter. Now I have to note down all my BADI. Where? In a notepad, right? So you have to know whenever you put an exit breakpoint at exit handler, right? It will start getting into the debugger mode, but you have to think through. So when do I have to raise an error message? When XK02 is getting triggered? No, which means I have to let it go and click on F8. I have to give the data and I hit enter. Then I should be identifying the list of baddies which are available. That will basically give my baddies which are appropriate for my data change. So second one is like, what is the second one? It is address search. Okay. Now again I will click on F8. It is GORV XRV underscore select. Right. I will again click on F8. It is giving nothing. So basically, how many baddies are there? How many you are able to see? 3 baddies. I'm able to see 3 baddies, right? See vendor field status, GOSRV select, address search. I did not get this baddies. Why? Hold on. Why I did not get this baddies? Can I
because in that
come
case
back?
you are taking Germany, but here region is there already. We're talking about the Germany and the region here.
Right. Now, that is not the thing. It is not about Germany or India. It should show me the baddies, right? Whatever are there. Then what if it is India, I have to raise an error message, right? So that should not be the case. Vendor address change. There is one more BADI called as a vendor address change. Okay, now I will click on exit name. Vendor field status is one BADI. Address search is one more BADI. SRV select. Summary points are reloaded successfully. No. So hold on for a minute. Why did I miss that? I'll just remove this once. Because if I'm not able to show you the BADI, then what is the use, right? Right. So let me go to SC24. CL exit handler. I will get instance method. Okay. Let me come back. Now I will put this again. Then I will click on /x6k02 xk02. So you're having a BADI here itself. That is vendor add data. So okay, my bad. I'll take my sentence back. So you have to identify and get your list of BADIs. Right, address change we have already noted down, right? BADI layer is the third. We have to identify all the BADIs from starting of the transaction code. From the starting of the transaction code, right? So if I click on here, field status, address search, here service select, and we have got all these BADIs. Now I will remove my breakpoint. I will remove my breakpoint. I am done, right? So what are the BADIs here? See, let us go back and compare it with this, the BADIs. What is it? Vendor field search status, GeoSRV select, address check. We did not get address search. We did not get CVA call BTE. Leave it. That is a BTS. Address update. We did not get address update. We got address search. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We missed out one thing. There is a change. This is way long back thing. Maybe they have implemented a new sort of badges or whatever it is. So we are getting the list of badges like this. Now, what is the transaction code for BADI definition? What is the transaction code for
SC18.
SC18? I have to remove this exit handler because it will get triggered for any of the transaction code.
How you know that? How can I know that which BADI I'm having 5 BADIs? So how can I know that which one I should use in SC19, 18?
Right, that is what it is. Now I have to, how do I identify which exit it is?
Which exit?
The customer exits, how do you identify which exit it is?
When it triggers.
Huh?
When it triggers, at that time we'll be finding out, okay, this is the exit. We're getting the exit name.
Right, but which exit
when,
you want to implement? How will you identify that? How will you identify that? How will you identify that? If I have 5 exits found, customer 001, 002, 003, 004, and each I have
According to the
inside a,
situation, like whatever the
not
parameter
according to
value
the
given.
situations, yeah, importing and exporting parameters. Similar way, we have to check the method or the interface, and we have to understand its functionality. So with the description, this is talking about field status in vendors. Change the field status, which is nothing but your boolean value. It should be nothing but your boolean value. This method is having a parameter get field status list, right? Import list of new field status. If you want, if you are adding any new field status to your current standard transaction code, this interface can be reused. Interface is a method without any implementation. If you have to implement this method, you have to call it in your class. You have to call it in your class, right? So if this is for import list of new field status, so this is not the right one. So what is the next one? Address search. The name itself says to, if you want to search or search for an address, right, you can use this BADI. You can use this BADI, right? Error tolerant address search initialize method determines whether the index is synchronous to the SAP database. Determine get all indexed field for logical. It is only getting the data and showing the resultant fields. It is showing the resultant fields, right? If I double click on this interface, this has the 4 methods. Now if I go to the properties, right? Okay, this is not getting you any data. Now address search, error tolerant address search. So there is nothing you can handle with your vendor, country, region, or whatever it is, right? So I will go and search with what is this ZOSRV underscore select. Vikram, are you there? Or the class is getting ended. So it is related to something related to services selection. So this is also not related like this. We have to identify according to the example, right? Now I'll go direct. First, let me check with the address change. Can I even implement in this? Let me also see this. Let me also see this. So determination of a filter value for the BAS screen. What is this BAS? Change address screen in the master data maintenance. Change the address screen. Now, if you look at the methods, right? Get filter values. It will get the data, right? Get LFA1 values. It will get the additional data, right? Additional data is something that is which is other than the actual data, right? Transfer additional data values on the bash screen. Maybe the screen which we are seeing is nothing but our bash screen. So this data is, this BADI is not correct. So let me see vendor add data, right? Right? Check all data, final checks. Okay, if you want to perform after final checks, everything is data, you can use the save data, check data changed, initialize add-on data, read add-on data, check account number, modify account number. We have so many default transfer add-ons inputs, right? Now the thing is on which particular method I can use this, I can reuse this.
First one, final check.
That depends upon the parameters. Now I underscore LFA1, its associated type is table. In this table, right? Check all data. In this table, I'm getting my region as well. I'm getting my region REGA. Let me just check that field. This LFA1 only, right? So we will get that region field, which means whenever I use this BADI, I'm getting a parameter as LFA1, which is nothing but my table, and my table has that REGAO field. Now I can basically use this particular. Now it has a regio field, and I have my vendor also. So for this vendor, if the region is DE, right, right, if this DE, I have to raise an error message. So I can implement this particular BADI. So I have identified my BADI using SC19 transaction code, and I have understood that vendor add data is suitable for my implementation. Vendor add data is suitable for my implementation. So if you look at the method definition, it is nothing, it is a definition. I have to create its form and inform, that is implementation, right? So where do I create it? I create it in a transaction code called as a, I create it in a transaction code called as an SC19. So what is the BADI name? It is vendor, not this one, vendor add data. What it is? Vendor add data, right? So I will edit the implementation. I don't want to create any new implementation. I wanted to, right? First, sorry, I have to create the implementation, right? Hold on 1 second. Classic BADI, right, vendor. So sorry, in the create, I want to create the implementation. I do not want to edit the implementation. I want to create a implementation, which is a classic BADI, and the BADI name is vendor add data. For this BADI, I want to create my own implementation. Understood? So if there exists already a BADI, then I will click on the classic BADI and give the implementation name directly. Right?
Yeah.
Did you get it? Now? Okay. Before, one more thing, sorry to tell you, right? Put a static or dynamic breakpoint inside the method and activate the class method right? So I'll give some when implementation name as z vendor underscore add underscore theta. I will give a name called as a z vendor. I will give my implementation name for this definition. So someone has already added it. I'll give it as 546. I'll give it as 546. I will give a implementation name for this particular definition. I will give a vendor data right. I will give this. I will go to the interfaces. Now, do you observe here an implementation class is getting created? An implementation class is getting created, which means a class is created by default, and this class is inheriting this interface, and it is using all this interfaces properties, right? Now what will I do? I will save this first, save it into my local object. Okay. Okay, it says it will be migrated. Say okay. So what is an interface, Vikram? Hello, Vikram, are you there? Hello, hello, Vikram.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Actually, I was just oning my laptop, to attend the meeting beside. So I was just here.
Oh, you have a meeting now?
No, on my office laptop, I'm just on the
Okay.
meeting. So that because all of my team are joining the meeting. So if I'm not there, then
Right, right.
that's why I'm opening that.
So when I click, okay, once you're done, just let me know. I want to show you the next steps.
No, you carry on. I'm just opening on the other laptop so that I can
Okay,
see.
I
My
will
preference
click
can
on
be there.
create. Once the migrated is done, I'll click on create. So I'll give the when enhancement implementation name again. I'll give the same name vendor underscore add underscore data underscore 546. I will give the short text as data 546, and I do not give any composite enhancement. I don't require that. I don't require that. I'll save it under the local object. Once you save under the local object, whatever the name you are creating an enhancement implementation, that need to be shown on your pop-up screen. That should be shown on your pop-up screen, right? See, that is able to show on your pop-up screen. Now I'll click on OK. Now I'll click on OK. So project started.
Not yet. Already assigned. Interview was here.
Interview.
Yeah, interview client end.
Oh, so you cleared that?
I gave, but they asked the question, what do you have work and this and that. And afterward, the project manager told, okay, I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm. System is very slow. Right? So you have to just write the code here. That's it.
I think this part I did somewhere before. From SAP technical, I think.
Yeah. So implementation is created. Now what you have to do is you have to open this method, right? And put a breakpoint. Breakpoint. Put a breakpoint here, right? Activate this method.
Why?
So
Why this
only one thing
breakpoint?
in bad is why? Because I have to run and check before writing any code whether if I'm able to get to this breakpoint or not. There is a method I can see inside this BADI, but I have to make it confirmed whether I'm able to get into that, whether I'm able to get into that, right? So xk02, I'll hit enter. I will give some values. I'll click on save. No, it is not getting. This is already blocked by Vikram. A breakpoint is not at all getting triggered. No, it should trigger. Did I put the breakpoint? Hold on, just give me a second. Let me go to this class first and see if this is in active status or not. Where do I check my class in SE24? So this is under active stage. There is no hard and forth rule that I have to basically activate all the methods inside this. So whatever the method I wanted to use, I can activate it. So this is inactive, that is fine. But this point is not getting triggered, right? So if I even change it, it will not work. Put a breakpoint. It is not getting triggered. Why? It's K02 giving something called as given all these things. No, why it is not triggering, man? It's just not getting triggered at all. There is some issue. I have to look into it. This is problem with all this. I'll activate my class. Okay, let me activate this. Let me activate this. Maybe this is the issue. I have activated my class. Let me come back and XK02, right? Why this breakpoint is not getting triggered?
If you directly apply the code, then we will not get the message or what?
But why is this? We have to know. I mean, if this is not getting triggered, I will put something hello. This is not appropriate, I know, but I wanted this breakpoint to be get triggered because we have to see, right, whether the data is coming inside this BADI or not. Then only we are able to create it, right? If I just put the code directly, it will not even give it, right?
The message spelling is wrong.
That is fine, but let me put this. But why this breakpoint is not at all triggering? Now I will say instead of Germany, is IN. It is IN, India, and if its region is space. If region is equals to space, right? Should be in this quotes. Should be
You will now hear beeps until someone else joins the conference.
Vikram.
Yep.
Someone has made this region field as a mandatory field. Region field as a mandatory field. So I have to, by default, give a value, any of this value, right? So this cannot be shown as an example now. Now I don't know which BADI they have implemented and they have changed this, right? So this BADI will not get triggered, the one which we are using.
Okay, got it.
At least if the breakpoint is triggered, I can change the value of regio to space. Hold on, let us see the respective BADIs. Give me a second. BADI implementations, right? I don't know.
I got the process how to do this.
But hold on now. Yeah, this is how it should be, right? We have to identify the BADI and we have to make use of it. We have to make use of it. I will show you another example as well. Right. Can you open your system and check if the region field is a blank field or a mandatory field for me? Or are we looking into a completely wrong example? Because I don't remember whether this region was made as a mandatory by the end user someone or
It's a blank.
I mean by default.
Yes.
I mean, is this a mandatory field or not? Is it a mandatory field?
In the other system?
In the other system.
It was not the mandatory
Did you
field.
log in?
Yes.
Can you just show me?
No,
Can you
right
just
now
show
I'm not
me your
having
screen
a
once?
login of that. My own.
Hi. Okay, this is done by someone here on the test system, right?
Anyway, got it. Process forward.
Got it right. That is at the screen level they have done it. That is at the screen level they have done it as a mandatory field, which means, hold on, vendor address, right? System status. Let me just see if they have done it by any enhancement or how is this being done. Because if it is the region is mandatory field and it cannot be given as, okay, for German the country region can be blank. Let me just check that. Hold on. We are checking it for India, right? India we have already have values associated to it. Let me just check on the German thing and then we will close this. Okay, just hold on. Let me just change the country from India to D. India to D, right? Now I will click on F4. Okay, we have values already, so they have made it as a mandatory fit. So this example I cannot show you. Just leave it. The only thing I wanted to check is how did they made this field as a mandatory field? Street address. So do you have it on the select options, right? It is a parameter option only. Let me see if they have made it as a mandatory or not. So the program screen is SAP MF02K, right? So that will be on the top. That will be on the top itself. What is that field is? Regio. No. Come back. We'll come back one step and click on Regio here. Then the main program.
Spelling wrong, sir. REGIO.
So this is the process generally. Okay, let us twist GIO. So I have to see controls. It is under the table controls. Okay, not here. They're using it in a table, right?
It is in German language. There is a regio.
No, someone has changed it. I wanted to know where they have changed it. So if they're making some screen element changes here. here or the other or at the screen level. We have to just see. Okay, forget. Let us not waste time. So this is the process, Vikram. Okay. This is the process. You have to identify the BADI, create the BADI, put a breakpoint and trigger it. Yeah, why is this not? Yeah, if it is getting triggered, you are able to use that importing or exporting parameters and see, and you can do whatever you wanted to do. You can do it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The next was with the same thing, key, industry key, BRSHS. Okay, let me just see. Industry key is that mandatory field here. At least that if it is there, we can just. This is under inactive status. Why? I have just under inactive status. Okay, maybe now it should work. I did not have activated everything. I need to have the breakpoint. That is more important. Whether I write the code or don't the write code, it doesn't matter to me. If I am able to trigger that breakpoint, I am good. I am good, right? Now let me at least try to trigger now. Use for ICAP.
Before also we have activated and we did it here.
No, I activated just 2 minutes back. Why that is not getting triggered is still a question to me. That should get triggered. I am not concerned about the logic. Logic can be written whatever or and we require. But at least in BRSH, right? BRSH industry key. Where is that industry key field at least? In which check all data. BRSH industry key. Industry, is this the key? If we are not able to do this, then this is the key. Okay, let me put a condition saying that if it is India and if the industry key is blank, right, I have to raise an error message. If at least that works, for whatever, if it has to work, that should get just a second, Vikram. Hello, Vikram, 1 second.
Hello. Hello.
Sorry. I just put it as this will even not trigger cause BRSCH. I'll just put this. Let the message be same. At least.
You need to remove the breakpoint now.
No, let it be. We will see whether it is there or not there. So, Marco, 602, right? Let us save this. It is triggering now. It is triggering now. Did you observe?
Yeah.
It is getting triggered now. It means it is checking this condition. Kade. It is triggering the breakpoint now. Alright. So it should throw me an error message. Region is mandatory for every vendors. Right? We have activated this everything. And let me just remove the code and see why it did not get triggered earlier. Right? At least the breakpoint should get triggered for me. I also want to confirm if I write the code correctly, only this breakpoint will get triggered. It should not be the case, right? So I'll give reference here. Maybe hold on, I'm saving it in a wrong way. Alright, I have to save it here, Vikram. I'm doing it in a lot. I have to save it at the top, right? So whether I write the code, I do not write the code. If I save my these things at the top, this is getting triggered. This breakpoint is getting triggered. Now I can write whatever the condition I wanted to write. Clear?
Yeah.
You got me? So yeah, okay, you're good. We are good with that, right? So the second improve was with the VRSS, right? So if there is anything new on this, I wanted to check. So it is the same. It is the same. So this is also another requirement which says that we have to add a prefix rel for all the material description. We have to add a prefix rel for all the materials in our company, right? So we have put a breakpoint here, identify the baddies, and we have we use BADI material check, right? Implemented that BADI check data, and we have written that we have added the logic of adding a text called as an rel, right? So whatever it is, if it is screw material, we will get rel hyphen or whatever it is, right? That is all the requirement is all about. No, the left out was with the multiple BADI. Using, sorry, filter BADI. Filter BADI, right?
And that also we
Can
need
we
to give
take
the.
this tomorrow? Or we can complete? Do you have time? I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm having time. Let's complete it and come by.
Right, no.
I
One
think
more
in that
thing I
filter,
wanted to
we need to
say
just
on
select
the no, hold on, I forgot. Now there are two implementations here, right? Right? Okay, I got it. So, right, if we want to implement, check if the industry key is not specified or not. We created one more BADI with Z vendor add data to another implementation, right? So whatever we activated, right, that BADI will get implemented. Now this BADI with vendor add data has two implementations, one with add data one for the earlier requirement and add data two for another requirement, which means for one BADI you can have multiple implementations. That is what we are saying. So the sequence of the implementation of form and inform is cannot be specified, which means this implementation of add 2 can be triggered first or add 1 can be triggered first. Either of the case, right? That is what, if you do not want to execute the first implementation, just do activate it. Just do activate it. If you do not want this implementation of the first implementation, right? If I don't want this implementation to be triggered. Now you understood, right? For single add data, we have two. We have two, right? If I do not want this, what you have to do is not activate it. It is wrong. We have to deactivate it. Deactivate this implementation, which means if you create one more implementation for this, only that implementation will be getting triggered.
So
Now,
we can
if you
create the
do,
other name by other name.
we can create it by another name. So that is what. Now, what you have to understand here is, to tell you on a simple terms, there is one perform called as a check all data. Okay.
Yes.
There is one perform called as a vendor add data. Sorry, my bad. It is vendor add data. Vendor add data, right? So for this particular BADI definition, that is nothing but your perform, we created one form and inform called as Z vendor add data one, right? Earlier, for which, for if region is blank, we are making it as a we are throwing an error message and we activated it. Now there was another requirement, they wanted to check even with the industry key. They even wanted to check with the industry key if it is blank or not. For that, they have created one more BADI with add data too. Now, for one perform, we have two forms and informs. Agree?
Yes, I
You
understand.
understand, right? Now, if I execute the XK02 transaction code, I do not know if the vendor data 1, add data 1 is triggered first or add data 2 is triggered. I cannot control the sequence of execution of implementation of the baddies if I have multiple implementations, right? Now, if the user says, I do not want the first implementation to be triggered, add data one to be triggered, then, right, if you do not want it, deactivate it. It is not do activate, it is deactivate.
So in this case, when we are doing two implementation, then we can do the first one deactivate and the second one
All right,
activate.
second one.
But when we are doing, when somebody else has done the activation or something, how can I know the implementation? What is it?
Right, that will trigger you certain results, right? So you will have to understand what are all the implementations available for this particular BADI. That you can check it in your BADI definition itself, right? If there is an implementation, or just come here on SC19, give the BADI name, you'll have the list of BADI implementations which are already created.
So every time the BADI
You
definition
understood this, right? If I have two implementation, I cannot.
this I understood. My only question was that how can I know if I am doing two implementation? I can know, okay, I did one and I should deactivate
Right.
that. But if somebody else has done the
First
activation,
thing, right? We have to first know whether that BADI is available to have two implementations or single implementation, right? So
that we can know from
we
here.
will click on here and the properties. What it is here?
We
It
can
is
know this.
multiple use,
It can
right?
happen. Yeah.
Now I'll click here and click on where use list. Okay, it is in programs, I guess, not from here, right? Now see here, someone has created one implementation with GCLIM vendor add data. I created one more this with 546, which means if I use the where use list of that particular BADI, wherever that method is being called, you will able to see its data. Someone has already created GCL vendor add data. Someone has created this GCLIM vendor add data. So there are two implementations for this. Two implementations for this.
So before doing my one, I need to
These
deactivate
two.
these two.
No, only the first. Yes, you have to deactivate this if you don't want it. So I hope I have answered your question. This is one more implementation which has been already created, right? So you have to deactivate this and you have to activate your code. If I have,
Then in that case, if I have deactivate this, then the modification which has been done or the
right,
execution which has been done, that will be going to be not
will not be
working.
working, right? Yes, correct.
Yes.
Right now,
And in that case, how?
if they say both the things which is done by you and which is done by me, both of them need to work, then you should not deactivate it. You have to allow it. If you allow it, it will work, but only is you cannot control the sequence of implementation. That's it.
Oh,
Clear? That all depends upon the business.
got it.
Right, so we covered single BADI, single BADI is also same. If it is not checked, it's a single BADI. Okay. The rest out thing was a filter BADI. The rest out thing was a filter BADI, right? What is a filter BADI? If you just provide the filter dependent, then it will have a filter key. It will have a filter key, right? Now check this. Now we will go to SC8 and give a BADI name. Click on create. We will click on create, right? Can we do this? We will do this. We will create our own definition. We will create our own definition. G vendor underscore G filter underscore 46. Create operation only possible for enhancement spots. Okay, let's see 90. New bed. I want to create my new body. Let's go 546. Sorry.
Create.
Create a new body.
So when to use classic BADI, when to use new BADI?
Whenever you.
Allah.
That's okay. I'm just giving it. Just give me some time. I have to see this. Because this is not working. Filter bad if it's go back and figure that. Just give me some time. Okay, tomorrow we will check out this. Okay. So basically, we use filter badges to filter out certain records and show only those resultant output. I will complete this requirement and show you tomorrow. Okay. So badges are done. What we will cover next? BAPIs or BDCs?
Please go with IDOC.
BAPIs, you're okay, right? You're okay with the BAPIs? BDCs, you're okay, right?
Yes.
BDCs, we have already seen it. It is okay. Shall we take IDOC? I have to have two systems, Vikram. Two separate systems, right?
Two systems.
Yeah, because I will log in from one system and there should be a...
You don't have a system? I mean, at your
No,
end?
both should be on the same network, right? That is what I will tell you the concepts, but in real time only you can see, because Basis has to configure the system configuration in between. When I give credentials and log in, that should take me to the other system where I can do it.
Two system means how? Like if I'm having my office system and I'm having the test system, will that work?
No, test system is one system, and there should be test 2, or there should be your quality system.
So if in this only I can create one more username and ID.
No,
and then we can
that is not the case. You can do it. So what I'm trying to tell, what I'm trying to tell you is, there is one client called as a 300, for example. Okay, there is one user ID and password to it. You have to have a client 400 with the same user ID and a password. Okay, and there should be a connection which has been established by the Basis folks, right, between these two connecting systems. So then I process the IDOC. I can just make an RFC connection from one system to another system, and I can connect to the other system as well. But that is how we do it. But I'll show you what can be done using IDOC. What can be done using IDOC. But the point is to have to jump directly to...
No, just let me know that what thing need to be done at my end in order to do it in the real time, like to have a...
Right, I'll tell you.
Do I need to take a system?
You have to have a remote function call enabled. You have to have a remote function called enable. So for this, there should be a link between the server 1 and server 2. You have to have two remote servers, and there should be a link between the servers, right? Like this. This needs to be set by the Basis team. This needs to be set by the Basis team. You will log in from one client, that will connect you to the other client. That will connect you to the other client. Okay. How can I show you this example? Who is your vendor who is sharing you these credentials? Vikram and DRP 123.
One of the guys here.
We have to check with that guy.
That's what I'm asking.
That is what. Do you have any other client, and can you create me a same credentials with it in order to perform some RFC activities? That is what you have to ask him.
So I need to ask the other client with same credentials.
That's right. And that should also work to you, which is altogether a new box,
New box.
Whatever it is, if it is a client 400 or 500, whatever it is, if he is able to create it with the same credentials, then we can work on this. Yeah. We can work on the RFCs. Once you know RFCs, then we can work on the IDOCs. Right?
So for that IDOCs, we need to go for the RFC or RSC independent with the IDOC?
RFC is independent with IDOC, but the thing is, if we have to have a processing between the two systems or the two servers, there should be a link established. There should be basically a link established. Why I'm telling you is IDOCs or BDCs or BAPIs we generally use to transmit data from one server to the another server. The server may be from SAP server to SAP server, or the server may be from the third-party system to the SAP system. So it is basically an inbound and outbound process, right? For example, US server is the main server here, which is using SAP. The inbound Indian server is a third-party system. Assume that it is a Python system or some other system. So whenever you transmit the data from a third-party system to SAP system, which means if I have to create a sales order in SAP system, this third-party system would send the data to me through an inbound services. I will cache that inbound services using ALE networks. Now, if I have to show you all these things, there should be a link established. In the real time, what they do is they establish a basis, or the security guys will establish a link for us for the third part from the third party system to our SAP system. Once the link is established, we just go and create our IDOCs. So I will show you how you have to create an IDOC once you get it. But the server link or the middleware link, whatever it is, right? That is a bit difficult actually. That needs to be shown you by the basis folks, right? So the basis folks in the real time will establish a connection between the non-SAP system server to the SAP system server, right? And there should be a middleware.
So my question is like here, like so in real time, if I get a project to work on the IDOC, need to transfer the data from one system to another system, and this is totally new project, and for the first time I'm working. So in that case, how I will be working? Because how the people are doing?
First thing is basis have to configure the connection between the two systems. Once they configure, I will show you what needs to be created and what you have to do with the IDOCs. Now here I can just show you an example, but in real time you have to replicate the same, right? Okay. Now I'll tell you first one example. In IDOC, what will happens now if I have to create a vendor, right? What will I do? I will go and create it from here, right? I will go and create it from here, right? I will go and what it was 5,500, right? I will give. It is not, so it was EMA01, right? So I don't remember this window. So we earlier created something called as a material master, right? Right? We were giving the industry type as something and material type as this, and we clicked on basic data 1 and 2, and we have provided the data, right? And we were able to, when we save it, the order got saved, right? Which means the entries were coming manually. We are entering the entries manually here, one by one. So on the other day, what we have seen from the flat file, user will send the details. User will send the details from the flat file, and we are using a BDC to upload that flat file so that my materials are getting created in SAP. Agreed? Right? In the same way, from the third-party system, we have to create an IDOC to transmit and create a materials data in SAP system. Okay, so IDOCs are also used to transfer the data from non-SAP to SAP system or SAP to non-SAP system. Now, to establish a BDC, we had an approach, right? We have to create it, we have to create BDC MSG call, we have to build the BDC MSG data. In the similar way, For IDOCs also, we have to use certain transaction codes, W30, W05. We have to understand about segments, right? Where we have to fit in the data, and the rest, the system.
खुल जा मेरे भाई।
You will now hear beeps until someone else joins the conference.